Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. My very good friend, of course. It's good to be back and talking with episode 6 of season 1 Singletown. Now, where do you want to start today? And we didn't actually prepare any notes for this one, did we? So I genuinely have no idea where you're going to start.
I've got to start, and I feel bad for doing this because he's become a bit of someone we singling out, but I just can't stop. But I can't not pick up on his bad behaviour and his cockiness. It's George again. I mean, he goes on that riverboat sort of dating thing that he's on, and he's calling out Sophie saying, well, I don't understand what the problem is. I go on benders for 3 days, sleep in other girls' beds as friends, and then I've woken up in other girls' beds. It's like, you are an absolute fucking idiot. If you think that is the normal behaviour to stay in a relationship with your cocky attitude, I just don't like him, Dave, and I'm sorry, Sophie. And as much as like Sam and that was giving the thumbs up, like yes, and even Emily did the same. He's not a nice guy. I hope that after this, he has grown as a person because you can't get away with treating people like that. You just can't.
Now, do you think that's possible, Chris? Do you think you can sleep in a bed, sleep in a mate's bed of the opposite sex and you're wired that way and it be completely platonic? You think that can happen?
Well, I think from a lady's point of view, maybe yes. Not from a Georgie's point of view, no.
No, I mean, I've not said this for a while, Chris, have I? For a long time, it feels like, but if it looks like a duck, it quacks
Yeah,
like a duck,
yeah.
it's a fucking duck.
Yeah. He's just a knobhead, isn't he? He loves himself. He is. And I'm wary of the fact that we have got some of the contestants listening in, but I just don't think what I've seen in 6 episodes is just coming across as somebody who wants his cake and he wants to eat it, but he also doesn't want Sophie to do the same, and he can't understand why she's behaving in that way. I just can't comprehend as a human being thinking you cannot treat somebody like that and expect to get it your own way. But he obviously does. Or
Yeah,
it has.
and I agree with you, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit. So, and I'm seeing this on The Bachelor as well, where one of the contestants in particular is coming across quite badly. But you would think that watching this back, you would hope that they get to that self-realization and think, you know what? Actually, I have behaved like a bit of a cock, and use that to kind of grow from it. So just because he's behaving that way, it doesn't mean he's always going to be like that. But yeah, he's got a lot of growing to do because, yeah, utterly unacceptable behaviour. But it's the fact that he can't even see it at the minute. That's the thing. It's like being an alcoholic, isn't it? You have to reach that point where you realise, what is it the alcoholics call it? It's like not the point of no return. It's
Like a
moment
come
of
to
clarity or
yeah,
something.
like a come to Jesus moment, isn't it? Like the Blues
Yeah.
Brothers. Have you seen the light type situation? That.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you kind of have to recognize it yourself. No one can tell you. They can kind of point you in that direction. But no, I think he does come across quite badly. But he's not in this episode too much, is he? I mean, you get you get that group. Is it the City Siders? I always get them mixed up, me.
yeah.
It's one of the ciders. Hold on, I think I've got it written down somewhere. It's the Riversiders, I think. And you're getting a bit of that fallout. So, of course, last week we had Nat and Luke going out. So
Yeah.
we get the new couple coming in, don't we? So we get so when I say Nat, Natasha and Luke obviously went out, but we get Nat, the dude, and joining the Riversiders, and we get Meg joining the Citysiders. So, I mean, what do you make of Nat first of all? Because he ends up, he seems to fall into life. Sounds like he's from your part of the world, Chris.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Dave, I didn't like his sort of attitude, his whole demeanor. He absolutely loves himself, this kid, doesn't he? I mean, Megan seemed really nice. I know Megan's probably going to be listening, but I did get vibes of Danny Dyer, who was on Love Island. She does look slightly like Danny, who won Love Island a couple of seasons ago. Really good girl. Seemed genuine. There seems like there's something there between her and Nat. He just didn't come across well at all, Dave, did he? You know, he went on a bit of a date, and they did focus on the new couple, which they quite rightly should do. I don't know. I can't work out what's going on there. And he's obviously not treated her the way she deserves to be treated. You know what I mean? As far as I can see off the editing, anyway.
Yeah, right. So we get this story that, they've not been in a good place. And we hear from Nat that Meg had been sexting with this other dude. Now, he said she was trying to get him round their place or something like that. But from what we can gather, he said that they split up, but then within 24 hours, and then I think when he was on a date with, I think it was Ellis, he
Yeah.
was saying, oh, it's probably a bit less than that. I'm wondering how much less, I'm not sure I can quite buy it. I do have like Ross in my ear, kind of like, we were on a break kind of thing, but there's something that doesn't add up for me, Chris, with that. And
Yeah.
the way Nat is, with Ellis in particular, he's just slipped into single life just a bit too easily for me. That makes me, he's not awkward at all. He's very smooth. There's no shortage of confidence with him whatsoever. I don't know. I think he's been caught out that one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the first, though. But if that
Look,
wasn't the first.
I agree. And one thing I would say, because obviously my gob did get me in a bit of trouble with Luke early in the series. The one thing I'd say, right, is, if you split up with your partner, I split with my partner, you must have had somebody lined up so you can literally go out and find someone to sleep with, Dave. It's an unholy of unholy fucking coincidence that under 24 hours you could find somebody just to get back at him and go and sleep with him. I'm sorry. All right, he could do the Ross thing, like you say, we were on a break sort of thing, but that's a hell of a thing. It's not like you like a month down the line and then you've gone for it, or a couple of weeks, maybe even 2-3 weeks. You're not getting back together. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Something happens. You can sort of understand that. 24 hours, Dave. Come on. He obviously, I am only guessing on this before I get another DM saying that what you're talking about. I just think looking at that situation, it's an almighty coincidence unless he's just got lucky on a night out, because that is just unbelievable.
Well, look, he's a good-looking lad. He could have gone out on a Friday or a Saturday night, picked someone up, had a one-night stand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Could have done.
But let's take that. It's less than 24 hours by his own admission, right? So I'm thinking, let's give him the maximum amount of time. Let's say they split up in the morning and he's gone out in the evening, picked someone up and shagged them. That is still cheating for me.
Yes, I agree.
It's not on that. He can't absolve himself. And yeah, I think the dates that Nat had and Meg had were very, very different. I mean, like I say, Nat was all in there. What I'm surprised about is Ellis seems a little bit older than him, seems to be, it's an Essex girl, I think, wasn't she? Seems to be, have a good bit of chat and, got a bit of banter there and seems quite clued up. But even when he says that stupid shit, and she calls him out, she says, well, that's still cheating. And yeah, it fucking is. But she's still interested in him. I
Yeah,
don't get it, And honestly, yeah, that's not going to end well. Yeah, I've honestly, Chris, after this one episode, I think I've put Nat mentally in a bit of a pigeonhole here. I don't think he's of that monogamous kind of mindset,
no,
honestly. And if Nat's listening, sorry, mate, but that's how it looks to me.
yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Now, Dave, our good friend Charlie, I've got to say, I was rooting for him. Straight in for a kiss there on his date. He was like, no, 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 not interested. Peck, peck, bit of a kiss. Oh, straight in there. And
He said as well, didn't he? He said, I'm a bit sexually frustrated, so it's right in there. So go in for the kiss. So yeah, that's the other unintended consequence, isn't it, of being separated or split up,
Yeah, and I
So
think
yeah.
I do, and I think them as a couple, him and Elliot, it's run its course, I think, completely. You know, I honestly think as well, in some respects, Charlie's a bit more forgiving towards Elliot. That he seems to be sort of harbouring all the blame for the relationship. I haven't seen that from what we've seen in the 6 episodes. It looks like they both have got the faults like we all have. They've decided that it's just not working. Let's do this experiment. They seem happier when they're not together at the moment. You know, whether they come together at the end of the series, I don't know. Obviously, we've only watched 6 episodes. But no, I was pleased for Charlie. I must admit, I was thinking, right, yeah, go for it, go for it. So it did look pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I did wonder what Glenn Johnson was doing after he quit football, to be honest. He's a fucking dead ringer, wasn't he, for Glenn Johnson? I had to do a double take. What I like about Singletown, Chris, is they do tend to get hammered, don't they?
Yeah.
On Love Island, I think they're allowed a glass of wine or something, but or one or two drinks. They don't seem to get that hammered. But on this, I mean, Charlie was definitely, he's going, oh, he was fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was straight in there and quite enjoying himself. And I think it's almost as if that, what would we call it? The recoupling, or it's not recoupling,
Yeah.
it's not like Love Island, is it? But the heart ceremony, let's call it that. After that, it seems like a weight's been lifted off him, and he's like, yeah, just let's go on loads of dates. I mean, we thought there might be something with Hayden, but obviously there was nothing really there, so he's just decided, let's go on loads of dates, meet new people, and have a good time. And so, fair play to him.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Now, Dave, also, one of the things that did come out of this episode, Selin went on quite a good date again. From obviously, Jeremiah had stormed off in the last episode. She's ended up storming off after him. She'd seen the kiss that he'd done earlier literally in the first episode of this series, and I think she was sort of like, "Fuck it, all bets are off." But it seemed like it went really well for her. I, I do think like. I don't know. I do think it may be that she's just doing it as a rebound effect, just to sort of wind Jeremiah up. Nothing happened, but she seemed like there was something there in that day. And I also think it's the same with Claudia. I mean, Claudia, I must admit, between Claudia and her, and Sam said this to me. She said, "Are they having a competition who can wear the least amount of clothes?" Because they look a bit nippy, Dave, shall we say? You know what I mean? But
You know what? There is no doubt in my mind what Selin believes her own best features are.
yeah,
Let's put it that way, because they are always front and center of
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Say no more, Dave. Anyway, but, one guy I actually want to give one of the guys a bit of credit. Actually, now I have had a bit of a pop a few times at Rob, and he's been a bit vanilla, and but the one thing I do like about him, Dave, is he gives out some good advice. So again,
Yeah.
he's sat there on the chair. He's talking it through with the guys, and he's giving out really, really good advice. And also, Dave, I've got to say, someone who's pitched a few songs in my time. I'm not the best singer, as you know, Dave. Don't say anything. But I have got up there and sung. He's not got a bad voice there. He's did a bit
I
of
tell you what,
crooning.
Chris, he has got some pipes on him.
Mm.
And I was impressed with his voice and how in tune he was. But I couldn't separate my mind because I was thinking about I am sat here watching a bloke naked in the bath singing about how he's feeling good and the water's sort of splashing a little bit back and forth. And I was just thinking, what are you feeling good about? It was, Did you not notice the water?
Yeah.
How it was splashing back and forth?
Yeah, but when George was
Like,
in there
as
the
he
other day,
serenaded.
he was.
Well, I thought,
It looked like he was relieving himself. Did he have to take a double take? So what are you doing, pal?
it was like that with the splashing the top of the water. What he was like,
Did you notice that George had a bit of a hairpiece on Dave in the bath?
a little firkin.
He had a bandana on in the bath.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
There's an elephant in the room with that kid, and I'm not fucking saying it, but you know what I'm getting at anyway.
Yeah. Let's not go there.
Horrendous. I've seen.
But Chris, moving swiftly on.
I've seen better looks in DFS.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that Barnet, but it is very strange. But
He's
we talked a
sponsored
bit
by
about
Loctite. Anyway,
just let's get away from that piece, as they say. So right, so we talked about Nat's date with Ellis, and I didn't catch the guy's name, but I mean Meg went on a date with this guy, and he's just. Oh, she wasn't interested at all. I think she was, her mind is still very much on that. And, she was being polite and, engaging in conversation, but she wasn't being flirty at all. She was being quite closed to the whole thing. And the guy, honestly, he just seemed like a bit of a tool to me. He's like, oh yeah, like most of my mates are at uni. And he was asking her like what she'd studied, and she said about psychology. And he was like, oh mate, is that where you can read me? Is that where you know everything I'm doing and stuff? Oh, his chat was shit, but he absolutely crashed and burned when he admitted he's got cheek filler. Now, I don't get why would a dude. A genuine question, Chris. I'm not taking the piss out of him because if he wants to have it done, good luck to him. But why would a dude have cheek filler?
right. This isn't. I've got a friend. Right. This is so genuine. I'm not bullshitting. Don't worry. He doesn't listen to this podcast. Nobody who knows him probably will listen to it. So I'm not going to get called out. But I've got someone to know who is the same age as me and has had every bit of work done at least once or twice a year. Fillers, Botox, even had the hair done, everything, right? And I mean, like, he was a Kojak Dave, now he's not. He's like got fucking hair like me now. It's like George Michael, his hair. It's that thick. But it works, great thing. But this guy goes every year, a couple of times he spends well over £1,000 on like these 3 to 6 months treatments. And as Phyllis, and I can't tell whether he has or he hasn't, but his job in hand is he's a builder. So it's not like he's a model or something.
Yeah,
And it's just purely, I understand it's a vanity thing because we all have our things where we don't like body dysmorphia. We don't like, so I get it. If someone maybe has said something to him, maybe it's a hang up of his, I don't know. But I thought it was a bizarre thing to sort of throw in there. But however, my friend does it. My friend's quite open about it. But I think, why bother? You look all right as it is. It's just a bizarre thing. But it's a bit like me spending hundreds of pounds every year on computer games. It's just my thing. It's probably just his thing. Just weird. It's weird to me, but as gaming is to other people when I do it. So yeah, I don't know. I've sort of gone down the rabbit hole there. I wish I'd not said. But anyway,
well, I meant like specifically though about the cheek fillers, like, and the guy's like mid-20s or something, isn't he? So
yeah,
your builder mate. I mean, I'm assuming he's not mid-20s.
same age as me
So
and you. He's the 40
yeah,
odd, I think. Yeah,
yeah, so fucking old. So
yeah.
if you have a bit of work done there, it's because you're probably not feeling as young as you used to. But the guy's like mid-20s, so I just don't get it. Maybe someone out there can help me understand. But cheek fillers, and maybe this comes from a guy who's had chubby fucking cheeks for his entire life, So I guess I don't need any cheek fillers, or else I look like fucking the Stay Puft Candyman. But I don't know. Maybe he's got a bony face naturally, or something like that. So I don't know. But it was lost on me. But that was definitely where he killed it. But I did laugh at like Meg saying, have you had it done? Have you had it done? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, I wouldn't have admitted that if I was you.
Yeah. Fucking.
But but anyway, Chris, another great episode of Singletown, and we're kind of almost at the halfway point, aren't we? And now we know that they can introduce new couples if someone does leave. I can't think. What do you reckon? Of what we've seen today, so has it altered your opinion on any of the couples, whether they leave or stay?
I honestly think, as I said at the top of the show, the one couple who cannot get back together are fucking George and Sophie. Not a chance. That is as you would say, Dave, that is a fucking big red flag straight away for me. He's not going to reconcile, and he is certainly not going to change his ways. Not at the moment, anyway. He's too young. He needs a good 10 years in him, and then maybe they get back together. But she's going to move on again. I just think she's worth more than that, Dave. I don't know. I think his wit and charm seems to think he can get away with just being completely wrong and completely an arsehole, basically. So that is the only couple I would say go for it. Do not get back together. Everyone else, it's sort of up in the air. I think Charlie and Elliot's has gone. I think Charlie's going one way, Elliot's going the other. However, it could reconcile. I don't think it's at the point, but I'm so glad Sophie's had this time to sort of find herself as such, because in the moment, he deserves nothing out of that girl.
Yeah, and I tell you though, you say about that, right? So Claudia, when they were on the boat, she was talking to two blokes, which I thought was a little bit weird. It's like, one of you just fuck off and take turns at least. I don't know if spit roast was on order at the buffet, but she for me, she was giving Rob like a hard time, and you were saying about Rob, he just seems like a salt of the earth bloke to me. I just can't really fault anything. You're saying about him giving good advice. He's not got a bad word to say about Claudia. And yet she's like, it's never enough for her. And so, I don't see it with them two, to be honest, because she's just got some kind of hang up. Like what we're seeing, where Rob is kind of, what it might be, Chris? Because Rob is like chewing it down or swallowing it down, like all his disappointment, and he's sort of saying, look, I totally respect that decision and whatever. She's interpreting that he's not asked.
Yeah.
But we can see, I think, as blokes, we can see, of course, he's fucking mortified, but he's trying to act the man, and he's not trying to show emotion and stuff. But I think she probably needs that bit of emotion. Some people do, some people don't. Yeah, I don't really see it happening with them. Elliot and Charlie, I think they're probably too far gone as well. I think they're just enjoying life as singles. But then there is the doubt in my mind that they're clearly very emotionally connected, given that whole heart ceremony thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all, but can't wait for the next episode, Chris. So we should get on that one definitely pretty soon.
Exactly. So, guys, and you're right, Dave's been a cracker today. If you want to get in contact with us at CD Realitycast, not CD as in the Red Light District, CD Realitycast on Twitter, or cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And also, it's been a great episode today, Dave. If you do want to sort of throw a review for us, guys, get onto your podcast catching app and drop Dave and myself a review on the show. Really, really appreciate it. We really, really do. And also, I think everything's been stuck together really well today, Dave, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It really has been, we've sort of weaved in and out, and I've had a really, really good laugh. So thank you, my friend. I really, really hope you've enjoyed it.
I'm waiting for the punchline here. What are you setting me up for?
It's gone over your head, hasn't it? Stuck together, weave.
Oh, right. Okay.
We aren't sponsored by Loctite, but anyway, yeah. No.
Well, let's wiggle on out of here.
Who loves you, baby?
Oh, you are naughty. Naughty, mate.
Right, we'll see everyone next time.
Bye now.